Okay, we'll bring tonight's city council meeting to order. Please rise for a pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll make a motion to adopt tonight's agenda.
Second.
Motion made second. Any discussion? Hearing none. To the motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. On to presentations. Stephanie.
So the first agenda tonight item is a public hearing for a variance for the installation of a septic drain field within structural setbacks at 428 Elm Road Northeast. The request for a variance at 428 Elm Road Northeast was prompted by a city septic compliance inspection required by city code for the sale or transfer of property. The applicant had the property for sale and has actually lost sales because of the non-compliant system and the issue with the variances. The existing drain field failed during the inspection because it does not meet the required 3-foot soil separation from the bottom of the drain field. The existing separation requirement is 2 feet. Also, the drain field is required to be placed 20 feet from the house foundation. The existing drain field is non-conforming and the setback ranges anywhere between 10 to 13 feet from the foundation. A little bit of a background, this has been in front of City Council before. On August 8th of 2022, a variance was granted for the installation of a Type 2 septic system as an alternative. Type 2 septic systems are holding tanks that require the variance. After further consultation with the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency, the East Bethel Building Department staff was informed a repair of the existing drain field was an acceptable solution as long as a monitoring and mitigation plan was established. East Bethel Building Department staff has received and approved the monitoring and mitigation plan, which is part of the attached resolution. The applicant is requesting a variance to the structural setback standard of 20 feet from the foundation to 10 to 13 feet in order to repair and use the existing non-conforming drain field location. Considering a variance requires the following 3-factor test. The test of reasonableness. Septic systems are required for a home to be considered habitable, so the approval of the variance would allow the property to continue as a residential use. The test of uniqueness. In this case, the property has limited space for a replacement drain field. All these lots down around Coon Lake or the Coon Lake Beach area are from a 1920s era plat. So current setback requirements for wells and structures and the DNR lake regulations supports the uniqueness test of this variance. And the last one is the alteration of the essential character of the neighborhood. In this case, the neighborhood has significant number of variances for septics due to the small lot sizes and the age of the neighborhood. So granting this variance does not change the essential character of this neighborhood. At this time, City Council is requested to hold the public hearing regarding the variance for the installation of the septic drain field within the structural setbacks. Staff recommends City Council approve Resolution 2022-67, granting the variance to the standard, allowing again for the installation of the septic drain field with the attached monitoring and mitigation plan.
Okay, with that, we'll open the public hearing regarding the variance for the septic drain field at 428 Elm Road Northeast. If anyone's here interested tonight to speak to council on this matter, this is your opportunity. Seeing none, we'll close that public hearing.
I'm going to make a motion to approve Resolution 2022-67, granting a variance to the standards for installation of a septic drain field within structural setbacks from 20 feet to 10 feet on property located at 428 Elm Road Northeast, PIN number 36332324-0249.
Second.
Motion made and second. Discussion.
I stopped over at Tom and Crystal's house this afternoon. I just want to thank them for their patience. I know they've been through a lot. I don't think this is going to, completely make everything better, but I hope this helps. And I talked to them about a permit jack and their escrow check, if they can pick them up tomorrow, maybe intercept the escrow check so they can get that too. Is that possible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, is there any other discussion? Hearing none. To the motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. Item B.
The next one is is a public hearing for a septic system as well. This is for the reduction of a front yard, side yard, and structural setback for drain field replacement at 315 Lakeshore Drive Northeast. The property owner is requesting a reduction in setbacks from the westerly side property line from 10 feet to 5 feet, southerly rear property line from 10 feet to 5 feet, and structural setback of 20 feet to 10 feet for the replacement of a septic system drain field, again at 315 Lakeshore Drive Northeast. So this current system is existing, and it's existing with these setbacks as well. The system is a non-compliant type 1 system and needs to be replaced, but due to the lot size, there's limited space for a new system. Therefore, it will be installed in the same location as the existing system right now. The owner plans to demo the existing home and rebuild it in the same footprint and location that it is right now. The existing drain field does not meet the required setbacks to the home or the property lines, nor is there space, again, on the lot to relocate it. So it does meet setbacks. So drain field and tanks are going to be pretty much in the same location as they are right now. Minnesota Pollution Control Agency supports the variances for the setback to the home as long as a monitoring and mitigation plan is established. And the building department did receive and approve a monitoring and mitigation plan. The property is located within the Coon Lake Beach area, again with considerable smaller lots. And per the plan submitted by the septic contractor, variances will be required to update the system. So to consider a variance, it requires the following 3-factor test. One, the septic systems are required for the home to be considered habitable. The system will be placed less than 20 feet from a residence, and it can only be unless approved through the variance process, which is why we're here tonight. The approval of the variance would allow this property to be continued as a residential use. Then there's the test of uniqueness. In this case, the property owner or the property has limited space for the replacement drain field that meets setback requirements due to lot sizes that were created in this area in the 1920s. Current setback requirements for wells, structures, and DNR shoreline regulations. It's tough to get all that on these small lots. And the test of the essential character of the neighborhood. In this case, the neighborhood has had significant number of septic variances due to the age of this neighborhood and the small lots. Many of these homes also have been replaced in this area all around Coon Lake. We've been seeing tear downs and rebuilds. And again, this is required just to make the house habitable and to also rebuild the home. So at this time, staff is requesting City Council hold a public hearing and recommended approval of the reduction in setbacks from the westerly property line, which is his side, from 10 feet to 5 feet, the southerly property line, which is the rear yard, of 10 feet to 5 feet, and the principal structure setback of 20 feet to 10 feet for the placement of a septic drain field located at 315 Lakeshore Drive. And Resolution 2022-68 has the monitoring and mitigation plan attached to it. And the property owner is here too if you have questions of him.
With that, we'll open a public hearing for the variance on the septic setbacks at 315 Lakeshore Drive Northeast. Is anyone here tonight interested in speaking to council on this matter? Now is your time. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2022-68, granting variance for the reduction in setback from the westerly property line of 10 feet to 5 feet, southerly property line of 10 feet to 5 feet, and principal structural setback of 20 feet to 10 feet for the installation of a septic system drain field on a property located at 315 Lakeshore Drive Northeast, PIN 363323120034, legally described as Coon Lake Beach, second map lots 51, 52, 53, 54, and 55, Block 31, Coon Lake Beach, second.
Second.
Okay, motion made second, discussion. Hearing none, to the motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Okay, on to our consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to adopt tonight's consent agenda.
Second.
Motion made second, any discussion?
I'd like to pull item A and E, please.
Apple and Edward,
Yes.
okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, to the motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Suzanne, item A.
Okay, I just have a couple of questions. On the first, actually on page 21, the park landscaping that was done, I was just wondering which park that was, if anybody knows.
Which item was it?
It's on page 21. Yep, those two.
That is for the John Anderson Trail connection between
John
John Anderson Park and 229th.
Okay.
And that was for base material for the trail.
Okay, perfect. And then my other question is, I take it we got a new vehicle on the last page, that Towmaster?
Yes.
What vehicle is that?
That's the new snowplow truck
The
we purchased,
snowplow.
and that's for the bed and all the plows.
Sweet. And I guess that's all. With that, I'll make a motion to approve item A on the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion made second, discussion? Hearing none, to the motion, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? That passes. Suzanne, item E.
So I know it's just about setting a date, but I have a question. Are these charges all for water utility, or are some of them charges for unpaid property cleanup?
No, they're all for water utility bills.
All right, and then I'll save the rest for my close. With that, I'll approve item E on the consent agenda.
Second.
One
Motion
point of let me make a point of clarification. We had a little discussion here. There's a question on the column on interest rates, which shows that they're from 1/1/23 to 12/31/23. That is accurate. That date is correct, because what we're doing, we're assessing this for the pay 2023 taxes, and the delinquent charges remain unpaid until the end of the year. So that figure is correct. It may need to be reworded to make it a little clearer, but that's correct on that column.
Okay. Motion been made and second. Discussion. Hearing none, to the motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. That completes our consent agenda. New business, Planning Commission. Stephanie.
All right, we have a zoning map amendment. It's a rezone from public institution to light industrial at 1233 221st Avenue Northeast. The Minnesota Annual Conference of the United Methodist Church has turned in an application and asking for a rezoning of the United Methodist Church property. The property is currently for sale and no longer being used as a church. The property is currently zoned P as public, and surrounding properties are zoned light industrial or B2. The zoning would be consistent with the surrounding properties. If you look up on the screen, and right here, so we have it right here, it's the red, it's the public institutional, rezoning it to light industrial, and it would just be what the surrounding property is around it. So they do have a potential buyer for the property, and it is not a church, it's actually a light manufacturing business that would actually be a good fit in that location, so that's why this came in as a rezoning, because the church is selling the property and it will not be used as a church any longer. So the rezoning request aligns with the approved 2040 comprehensive plan. It does show this property as commercial uses. The light industrial district is intended and designed to provide areas of the city suitable for activities and uses that are commercial and general services related. Additionally, permitted uses include those allowed in the B2 and B3 districts as determined by the Planning Commission and approved by City Council. Therefore, no comprehensive plan changes are required for this rezoning. The Planning Commission did hold a public hearing on this on September 27th of 2022. There was one public comment, and it was the resident that lives directly to the south. They were questioning the zoning designation of the property directly south. They realized that their residential property is zoned commercial, and then they just wanted to know what type of uses are allowed in the light industrial zoning district. The commission did recommend approval of the rezoning on a 5-0 vote. There were 2 members absent. So at this time, Planning Commission recommends City Council approve the zoning amendment to the City of East Bethel official zoning map in attached ordinance 2022-02.
Make a motion to approve the zoning amendment to the City of East Bethel official zoning map as described in ordinance 2022-02.
I'll second it.
Motion made and second. Discussion. Stephanie, there's 2 copies of an official zoning map that's in the packet.
Yes. So,
That's just background, that's not part of this, right?
no, that was just showing what the city looks overall with that small portion red, and then another map was of it gray.
Okay, that's what's confusing, because it's the exact same map and it's dated the same, so
Yes.
it was just, okay, that's all.
That little itty
So it's
bitty
just a,
red spot.
so it's just a okay. It's not part of the resolution.
No.
Okay.
just not.
Is there any other discussion?
Did she say, you said a light manufacturing company was wanting to
Yes.
build over there? Did she say exactly what it was?
I do know what the use is. Everything is just indoors, and they just have a few employees at this time. They're an existing business coming from a different city. And
Isn't it computer
something.
boards or something like
yes,
that?
Yes.
I thought that's what they were talking about at the planning meeting.
Okay, that's all.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, to the motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. And now we're on to department reports, community development.
Next one is the zoning map amendment, the summary of publication. So City Council, you just approved ordinance 2022-02, an official zoning map amendment. After formal approval, the ordinance is required to be published in the local paper. So City Council is requested to approve the summary of publication for ordinance 2022-02, an official map amendment.
Make a motion to approve the summary of publication for ordinance 2022-02, an official map amendment.
Second.
Motion made, second, discussion. Hearing none, to that motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. Okay, thank you, Stephanie. On to item E1, posting of speed limits on 241st Avenue. Check.
The city has received 2 complaints regarding speeding on 241st Avenue west of Highway 65. There is no posted speed limit on this section of the road. If there is no posted speed limit, the allowable speeds default to 55 miles per hour. As a result of these complaints, the city's radar unit was placed on 241st Avenue from September 2nd through September the 9th to collect data on westbound traffic. The total vehicle daily count ranged from 468 to 691 during that time period. Average daily speeds were between 27 and 29 miles per hour. But each day, approximately 30% of the vehicles exceeded 30 miles an hour, with those in the 31 to 35 mile per hour range. Further results are graphically summarized in attachment 3 in your packet. In 2007, the city adopted the changes to Minnesota Statutes 169.14 that allows cities to set a 30 mile per hour speed limit in rural neighborhoods where homes or structures are spaced at an average of less than 300 feet apart for a distance of 1/4 mile or more. The City of East Bethel developed a map to identify which city streets would qualify based on the statute change, which is exhibited in attachment 2 in your packet. 241st Avenue west of Johnson Street was included in those findings and could be posted at 30 miles per hour. This matter was discussed at the October 3rd, 2022 work meeting, and council directed staff to place this item for consideration on the October 10th, 2022 council meeting agenda. The material cost for the city to do the posting for this section of road is estimated to be $150. Staff is requesting that City Council consider approval of posting 241st Avenue west of Johnson Street at a 30-mile-per-hour speed limit.
Is there a motion on this matter?
I'll make a motion for approval of the posting of 241st Avenue west of Johnson Street at a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit.
Second.
Motion made second, discussion. Not specific to this one, but one of the things we talked about the work meeting too was whether or not we look at the whole map
Yep.
and look at these other, have we done anything on that? those regards?
I've talked to Nate about it, and he's gotten just some very rough preliminary numbers about signs to do the rest of these. And each street is gonna vary as to the number of signs, depending on how many entrances there are and the length. And we've estimated that it's gonna take approximately 100 signs, so the total cost to do all of them will be about $15,000 in material. So we can present a plan then to do these incrementally over a 2 or 3 year period, or whatever council would desire for a term to get these all posted then at 30 miles per hour.
Okay. So that'll be a discussion for another time, but it's good to know. Any other discussion? Hearing none. To the motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Jack, do we have a way to get back to those residents that complained, let them know it's gonna be
Yes,
changed?
sure can.
Because I know sometimes it takes a while to get the signs up, so.
Yep.
Okay, very good. That completes our, most of our agenda. On to staff report.
Thank you, Steve. I just want to remind everybody that absentee balloting is in process. It began on September 23rd, and it will be open until Monday, November the 7th, the day before the election. So if you need to vote absentee, you can come in here anytime between 8 and 4, Monday through Friday, cast your absentee ballot. And the Saturday prior to the November 8th election will be open from 10 to 3 for absentee ballots. And on Monday, November the 7th, the absentee ballots will be open till 5 o'clock. So there's another 6-7 weeks left to cast an absentee ballot if you wish to do that. I'm sorry, about 4 or 5 weeks left.
Goes faster than you think.
It does.
Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, council reports. Wanda.
The only thing that I have is I want to congratulate Rod Sano. Today was his actual official first day, and I want to offer Chief Ducharme best wishes in his new endeavors.
Okay, Brian?
I attended September's planning zoning meeting. The only thing on the agenda was what we discussed tonight, the zoning change for the church property.
Is that it?
That's it.
Tim?
October 4th, I volunteered with the Oak Grove Fire Department, East Bethel Fire Department to put on a one-day Kids Fire Prevention Day at Cedar Creek Elementary and East Bethel Elementary. The kids the fire department went inside, showed the kids how to put on the turnout gear. They really loved that, and then they got a chance to come outside and go through the trucks. And I tell you what, the looks the kids gave was unbelievable. They just loved it. So I just want to say thanks to Oak Grove and the East Bethel Fire Department. Today's fire training was fire scene size up and set up. And Thursday, we're going to award the checks from the Chamber Golf Tournament. We're going to get $5,000 to NACE, $1,000 to the seniors, and $1,000 to Booster Days. And that's all I got.
Very good. Suzanne?
Okay, so the first thing I want to say is if people are stealing our signs, I want to remind them that it is a $5,000 per incident fine possible if they are discovered. And if they're calling residents and saying, I see your so-and-so sign in your yard, would you like me to come and get it? That's still taking somebody's sign without the sign owner's permission because that person is hosting a sign. And it's just kind of a slimy thing to be doing. And they've called and said who was doing it too. And then I wanted to talk about the water bill. Some residents have came up to me and said that they are having $1,400, $300 to $1,400 a month water bills in both of the different areas. And I think that's kind of outrageous. And I looked at what we pay, what is our per 1,000 gallons that we're paying, 3 or 4 something?
It's about 360 in the water service area south of 22 and around $7 in Whispering Aspen.
And I know Blaine, it's like $1.63, and where else was I looking? A couple other places where they were all under $2. And I'm just wondering if it's possible that we could renegotiate some of this water charges because our residents are suffering. And that's all I've got.
Well, Jack, our water charges are based on our cost.
Correct. And
So if we charge less, then we're gonna be using general fund
and
to
you have-
finance it.
And you have to keep in mind too, that Blaine probably has 20,000 customers and we have a little over 300 to 400 customers. So there's a huge economy of scale in that. Actually, our water cost in Whispering Aspens have been reduced somewhat over the years. We recognize that those are very high. I have yet to see anybody that had a $1,400 a month water bill. There were some on there that had $1,400, but those were for a year. Some people up there choose not to pay their bills, but just have it assessed on their taxes. There's several frequent people up there that continue to do that. We're always looking at ways to reduce it, but the only real way to reduce it is to get more customers.
But that's the rate, the only way we can use the rate.
Correct.
But for the residents that contact you, were there yards that have irrigation? Because that's usually what happens.
One of them, I think one of them definitely had irrigation because they said they want us to water our yard. Why would they, I'm like, maybe you shouldn't do what they want is what.
Well, every year we have complaints, and it always seems to come back to irrigation, just how often and really how people don't realize how much water actually comes through the sprinklers, and if you're watering every day, which is a lot, so, but I would suggest they contact, the city and talk to Mike about it. And
We actually did have some complaints from Viking Preserve back early last summer.
Last summer, yeah.
And there were some complaints about that. We looked into it, and that was the reason their bill was so high. It was extensive irrigation, and you drove through there, and their lawn looked like a golf course. I mean, it really looked nice, but to do that requires a lot of water. And generally, those bills there were, $40, $50, $30, $40 a month, with the exception of those that did excessive irrigation. So.
Well, that's a water bill,
Yeah.
$30 to $70 is a normal water bill in my book, not $300 to $1,400.
But you only got 45 houses at Viking Preserve too, and they gotta pay for it.
Well, those are all counted in the whole count for the commercial base.
Commercial too.
And the apartments too down there, but it's a challenge with our water system now. So as it grows, we should be able to do some rate reduction. Once we get to the place where we have 1,000 customers, it makes a huge difference because your fixed cost, if you divide it by 300 and their $300,000 is quite expensive, but if you divide it by 1,000 is much less. So that's where you achieve the savings in that.
Yeah, I think Columbus, do they have a lot of houses because they had some pretty low water bills too?
Columbus,
Linwood area,
do they have
They
water
have-
system?
they do.
Columbus has a water system that's served by Forest Lake, but it's only on the very west side of the city, over there where Running Aces is and some
So
of
it's
those.
the
It's
commercial,
served by
right?
right?
Yeah, it's all
Forest Lake.
commercial.
Yeah,
It's all
but,
Yeah.
but
commercial.
it's Forest Lake's water system.
Yeah.
So,
As Linwood doesn't have a system,
no,
do they?
No.
no.
No. Anything else?
No, that was all.
Okay. And I don't have anything tonight, so.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. Our meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everyone.